Hey, what's up guys? Radku here, back with another Yu-Gi-Oh video, and today is going to be X-Sabers. Now, I really like this deck, and it's been one of my most popular decks thus far, and I finally cut that stupid Gorgonic Guardian that I've had in this deck forever. Like, I'm just that dumb. But today is an update to this deck. I got a lot of comments on my last X-Saber video. Shout out to everybody who commented. But yeah, and I got a few comments. I got some more criticism on the deck. And I'm just glad in all that people commented. Shout out to Jericho104 because he has been the one helping me with this deck the most. So without further ado, let's jump right into the deck. Starting things off, I play one copy of Alpha, Master of Beasts. So this card is a new card that just came out. It's a really good beat stick, and two, this card has amazing removal. So you can summon it by returning any number of beast warrior, and or winged beast monsters. So that's basically your whole deck. You have that kind of card. Plus, you still have other cards such as warriors and spellcasters in this deck, so you're not going to lose all your monsters. But the big thing is that this card can return your opponent's cards to the hand based off of the number of cards that you sent to your hand. And that's really, really good. This sets up some great plays, and really it's just the only big reason that I played it is because it's a gigantic beat stick that has amazing removal. But it's definitely a good one-of inclusion because it's not super important, but it's still really good. Then I play 3 copies of double X-Saber Fault Troll. This card's really good. It gives you special summons. You can special summon it by controlling 2 or more X-Sabers, which is really easy with Rescue Cat. This card's pretty good in general, just because it gives you a level 6 body that you can use to go into rank 9 or level 9 plays. And that's second effect is once per turn you can target a level 4 or lower X-Saber in your graveyard, special summon it. So this means that it's good recovery after you've gone into your synchro plays, and that's actually pretty good. 3 copies of double X-Saber Bogart Knight. This card is a really good starter card. Its effect is when this card is normal or special summoned, special summon a level 4, or normal summon, special summon a level 4 or lower X-Saber from your hand, which is actually really good. It just kind of sets up your plays. In my first video that I made, I didn't really have a ton of plays because I didn't put Rescue Cat because I'm an idiot. But this card is still really good because this was my main starter in that deck, but it's still really good. And that's why I played it 3 copies. I play 3 copies of Airbellum. This is really your only tuner next to Ash, and you don't really use Ash. And this card's just really good. It sets up some hand loops, but that's not the important part of it. The important part is that it's a level 3 tuner, and that's really important for the deck. I played 2 copies of double X-Saber Dark Soul. This card's also pretty good, but it's not good for its effect. It's good just because it can set up a level 3 body on the field, which is good for synchro plays. And then rounding off the X-Saber monsters, I play 1 copy of X-Saber Raigagiri. When this card's normal or special summon, add an X-Saber from your graveyard to your hand. This is a good 1-for-1 target. If you draw into it, it sucks, but you're still going to be able to do your plays. I play 3 copies of Rescue Cat. Rescue Cat is really good in this deck. Pre-errata Rescue Cat was what made this deck like top tier, and it's still really good despite the fact that it's nerfed. So 3 copies of it is really important, and really half of your deck is just set up to get into Rescue Cat, because you have 3 copies of Rescue Cat, 3 copies of Summoner Monk to summon out Rescue Cat, then you have 2 copies of Transmodify, and you have a few other cards that are specifically set up in this deck just to summon out Rescue Cat, because Rescue Cat facilitates almost all your plays. Speaking of which, 3 copies of Summoner Monk. So the thing about Summoner Monk is that it's kind of in a weird position. You have to discard a spell, but you don't play a ton of spells in this deck. And the few spells that you do play are, you can sacrifice them in order to set up your combo plays, but it's still a really good card to get into Rescue Cat, and it really sets up your plays. And then for the hand traps, 3 copies of Ash and 2 copies of Nibiru. Nibiru's just really good because you can pretty easily beat over the tokens. Plus with Alpha, you have some decent spot removal. So that's really good. I played 1 copy of Monster Reborn, 1 for 1 to get you into your Ragagiri, or Gira. I'm still never going to be able to pronounce that name. Like, literally in all of my videos, I've never been able to pronounce that one's name. 1 copy of Card Destruction, because this can help you mulligan, and really, it's important because it can unbrick your hand. 1 copy of Upstart, because free draw, man. Like, it's really important for the deck. 1 copy of World Legacy Succession. You have easy ways of getting into your Haklafybrax, or even any of your other Link plays, so having World Legacy Succession as a one-of means that if you draw into it, you're able to facilitate the play, and if you don't draw into it, you're not actually losing anything. Then I play 3 copies of Fire Formation Tenki. This is really important because it can search out your Bogart Knight, as well as the fact that it sets up a continuous spell on the field that just gives your monsters a little bit of an attack boost, which is fine. You don't really play a ton of Beast Warriors in this deck, but being able to facilitate that play is kind of good. Then I play 2 copies of Transmodified. This card's important just to get into Rescue Cat. You can send 1 face-up monster you control to the graveyard, special summon from your deck 1 monster with the same attribute, type, and attribute as that monster, but 1 level higher. So this can help with your plays because you can use Arabellum to go into Rescue Cat, which is really good. This deck is kind of weird just because it has so many different types. So yeah, but having Transmodify is really good to unbrick your field, and it gets your Arabellum in the grave, which is actually important for plays with Fault Troll. I played 2 copies of Gotham Second Call. The Gotham's cards are really good. If you control an X-Saber or Synchro monster, you can special summon 2 X-Sabers from your graveyard, special summon both those targets, ignoring their summoning conditions, but change their attack to 0. Also destroy them during the end phase. So the thing is that this deck is really reliant on having multiple cards to tribute to hand loop your opponent. So let's say you go into Gotham's, you can use Second Call to summon out 2 more, let's say Fault Troll and Arabellum. Then you can use, you can either use those 2 cards to go into a synchro play into like Trishula, snipe a card out of your opponent's hand, then Xyz into a True King of All Calamities to lock your opponent out, or what you can do is you can use Gotham's effect to tribute itself to send it to the graveyard, and then get rid of 1 card in your opponent's hand. Then synchro into Cloud Castle to go into to get back your Gotham's, and then you can go into True King of All Calamities. Really, this card is just a free True King of All Calamities, which is really good. 2 copies of Pot of Desires. I was playing 2 Pot of Avarice and 1 Pot of Desires, but then somebody commented and I realized that what they said was true, and having a Pot of Avarice just isn't good in this deck, because even though we need cards in the graveyard, having that ability to get instant satisfaction, as I say, is really important in this deck, because you just can't survive if you draw into a Pot of Avarice. You want to draw into a Pot of Avarice after you're done with your plays, and Desires can really facilitate the combo-centric style of this deck. I played 2 copies of a Gotham's Emergency Call. This is also really good. Target 2 in the graveyard, special summon them both. No downsides, no nothing, other than the fact that this is a trap card, which really doesn't matter because this can set up your plays for turn 2. That is it for the main deck. The main deck has actually gotten a lot more solid thanks to everybody who commented on my videos. I'm so glad that everybody has been so, helpful in the comment section and not just randomly spouting hate, and actually giving me stuff I can work with. So for the extra deck, I play one copy of Trishula. Trishula is good because this deck is based around hand looping your opponent. And summoning big synchro monsters. So the ability to summon out Trishula and just lock your opponent or get rid of a card in your opponent's hand, on top of being able to go into Golems, which can hand loop your opponent completely, is really good. One copy of Cloud Castle, because this is good for recovery plays, as well as the fact that you can use Golems to tribute itself to get rid of a card in your opponent's hand, then go into a Cloud Castle to get it back, which is pretty good. One copy of Sousa, just because this is a good target. If you don't have all the cards you need, you can just use Bogart Knight and Airbellum to go into a Sousa and just sit on it for a little bit. I played 2 copies of Golems. 3 copies of Golems would be a bit much because you don't really need it at 3 copies, because if you go into the 3rd copy, it's the long game and you're probably not going to live past that point. So having 2 is just good, because again, this deck is based around hand looping and summoning giant synchro monsters. So if you're getting to that point where you're needing to go into that 3rd Golems, you've probably already lost. I played 1 copy of X-Saber, Heinali, I don't know. When this card synchro summons, select 3 and destroy up to 3 spells and traps on the field, which is good, just having that removal. Into the Link monsters. 1 copy of Access Code, because it's pretty good. You won't go into it a ton, but having that option for easy OTK purposes is pretty good. 1 copy of Boral Sword, also for OTK purposes. 1 copy of Hakla Fibrax, because this can get you into your Airbellum, which is actually really important because you can use Transmodify on it to go into Rescue Cat, or you can just use your Airbellum for synchro plays. Even though Airbellum is your only other tuner next to Ash, which, I mean, if you're going into Hakla Fibrax in this deck, you're probably getting desperate, so yeah. 1 copy of Saryuja Skulldread, because this card's really good in this deck. Being able to special summon like a Rescue Cat from your hand just to use its effect to go into 2 more cards is really good, but really this deck isn't made for Link spam, and you're not going to summon Link 4s a ton in this deck, even though you can, and they can set up some really good advantage for you. 1 copy of each of the Nightmares, because this deck doesn't have a ton of removal in the main deck, so having that ability, other than Alpha, but having that ability to get rid of some cards is still pretty good. Then I play 2 copies of VFD. So the reason I play 2 copies is because, 1, you have Golems, and then you have the Trishula play I said, and then turn 2, or even turn 3, you can go into a Cloud Castle to summon back one of your Detached Xyz materials to go into another VFD after your first one's probably been destroyed, and then you can lock your opponent out for another 2 turns, which is actually really, really good. So even though I did say you're probably gonna lose past turn 3 to 4, you still have combo plays you can do after that point. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, let me know what you thought, and let me know if there's anything you would change about this deck. Again, shout out to everybody who has commented on my last few X-Saber deck profiles. And yeah, that's pretty much it, and I will see you in the next Yu-Gi-Oh video. Peace, guys.